Bam. Better damn. Hey. Hey.
Is we live?
Mm-hmm.
Is we live?
Oh, we's live. Bring me a chicken chiquita.
A chicken
A
jacuzzi?
chicken chiquita. Yes, honey. Ain't nothing like a good chicken chiquita. Mm. Yes, yes, Lord. Ain't nothing like a good chicken chiquita.
Happy birthday, Erica.
Happy birthday, Erica. Hey, Monte. Monte always on time.
Not always, but the majority of the
Well, the only
time.
time he ever late is when he got to work or when he on his way home from work. Monte is always on time. Yes, he is.
Well, since it's Erica's birthday,
Well, you got to sing.
come on up in the Lord's house. Ye shall come to love. Come on up in the Lord's house. Ye shall come to love. Come on up in the Lord's house. Ye shall come to love. Robo Shanda. Ebo Shai. He come to love. Oh yes.
Child.
But
Child.
my sinuses is messed up, so I can't sing it the
That
way I
was a
want to
Thai
sing it.
version of Ishala Kandala. It sounded very, very Cadbury.
Okay, let me do it again.
It wasn't no enthusiasm in it. No
Because my
nothing.
sinus is jacked up from when they went up in my nose in the hospital.
Lord.
Come on up in the Lord's house. You shall come to love. Oh, come on up in the Lord's house. He shall come to love. Come on up in the Lord's house. He shall come to love. Robo Shanda, Ebo Shai. He come to love. Oh,
I'm
yes.
telling you, I still ain't feel it. I ain't feel it. I
Well,
wasn't
that's
feeling it
the
in my
best you
spirit.
gonna
I
get
didn't feel it
today.
in my spirit. What's going on, Joseph? What's
That's the
going on?
best you gonna get today.
Oh boy, Joseph.
Unfortunately,
Joseph, it was a rough week.
it was.
This week we lost I think one person in New York City to a shooting on the subway.
Yes.
The subway shooter guy got on the subway. He got on the train and he just jumped. He got on the train and he pointed the gun in this man's chest and shot him point blank range in the chest, and he died at the hospital.
Yep.
And then to add more tragedy, there was a shooting in Texas where 19 elementary school students
Two
were
teachers.
brutally killed and two teachers were killed. So a total of 21 people were killed. Um, and including the man on the subway, 22 people were killed this week. This is the 127th mass shooting in the year for the year 2022. Can you believe that?
That's a
The
lot.
127th mass shooting, not shooting, but mass shooting for 2022. And unfortunately, we have to say and counting because you never know. I mean, what is this world
Because
coming
they're not
to?
doing nothing about these gun laws.
What is this world coming to, Joseph? It's
Oh,
not.
yes.
You know what? It's not even. It's more than just the gun laws. We're not doing enough. I think about mental health.
Well, let me ask you a question.
The things that we should be paying
No,
attention
let
to.
me ask you a question.
What's that?
Who would see an 18-year-old walk into a gun shop and sell them an AK-47? But a fucking idiot.
Who would?
But an idiot.
Well, under the law, in the eyes of the law, that 18-year-old actually has the right to go into a gun shop and buy an AK-47.
Okay, so I go in the gun shop and I want to buy a 9 millimeter gun. You make me wait 3 days. His little ass walk in the gun shop and want an AK-47 and you just give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, where did he get the money to buy the gun? That's number one.
Well, how much do you think an AK-47 costs?
Well over $400.
Okay, and you don't think a 18-year-old can get a hold of $400?
Where did he get it
Are
from?
you saying that's impossible?
No,
Okay. Well, what I'm saying to you is, in the eyes of the law, that 18-year-old legally purchase a AK-47. So what's wrong with that picture?
because
What's wrong with that picture? I mean, are you going? And see, here's the thing.
this is my point. If whoever sold him that gun, if they were doing their due diligence, they would have questioned him as to what he wanted the gun for. They would have procrastinated it a little bit and not just let him walk in there with. And T. Wright says an AK-47 is well over $1,000. So what I'm saying
Well, who's to
is,
say Who's to say that he can't? He could just go in there and say, "Well, I'm an avid gun collector. I want to have this in my collection."
but still, they no.
See, the problem is, Joseph. Here's the thing. The problem is, and this is, and it has to do some with being. It has some to do with the color of your skin, yes. But the problem is that this person or persons have a right legally by in the eyes of the law, both um, government and state, to go into a store and buy
Well,
of such a weapon. First of all, I don't believe that such a weapon should be sold.
first of all, if you can't drink, why would you make it available for them to buy a gun? If you can't drink at 18, why would you allow somebody if you can't even smoke at 18?
Hmm.
Why would you make it so somebody 18 years old can buy a gun? At 18 years old, you're not thinking straight.
Hmm.
You fly off the handle real quick.
Hmm.
You don't really have a sense of well being. You just do whatever you think most of the time.
Hmm.
So why would not you per se, but why would you make it necessary for an 18-year-old to be able to buy a gun when you don't even want them to drink? And then you don't want to do nothing about the gun laws,
Right.
but yet you want to save children from being aborted, but at the same time you won't save the kids that are already here in the classroom.
Right.
Hell, you won't even save the kids that are here that are hungry on Similac that can't even buy formula in the store.
Hmm.
But you want to make a law so that women can't get abortions. But when the babies are already here, you're doing nothing to protect them. So make it make sense.
See, you know what it is. I think we play. I think we here in this country, because America is such a country where you have, and what is our number one premise? Our number one premise is freedom. And see, what we do is when we come up with these, when these legislators try to come up with these gun laws to protect us, and when they come up with all these other different laws to protect us, we use freedom. We play the freedom card. Well, I should be free to go into a gun shop and buy an AK-47. I should be free to go up to walk up and down the street preaching hate. I should feel free to do anything in this country that I want to do. That is the premise that we in this country operate on. It's like a catch 22. It's like a double edged sword. Yes, we have freedoms, but we get so infuriated when we feel as though our freedom is being taken away from us. And, changing the gun laws, the NRA, they feel like their rights to bear arms and their freedom to purchase such dangerous weapons, their freedom is being taken away from them because they're not free to go into that gun shop and buy that weapon. So that's the dilemma that we are dealing with in this country. And unfortunately, most Republicans agree and feel as though um, the gun laws don't need to be changed. But yet, every single day, we have to walk out our doors and worry about going. Now, we have to worry about going to the supermarket. We have to worry about going to the mall, to school, and even church, where somebody can just come in and
Hell, you
just
gotta be scared to ride the train.
blow your head off for no reason whatsoever. Another part of this is that we talk mental health. I tell you guys about mental health all the time. I talk to you about mental health. I deal with mental health. That's a part of my journey, right? But like I tell people, mental health is real in this country, and not enough is being done when it comes to mental health, when not just when it comes to adults, but when it comes to children as well, because in the years past, we've had students walk into school with weapons of mass destruction. Don't you know, in the past in the past 2 weeks, they did a sweep in New York. Do you know how many weapons were found on students in school? There was a total of over 5,000 weapons confiscated from students in schools, including knives, and majority of it was guns. A majority of it was guns, Joseph. 5,000. That's a lot of weapons. That's a lot of weapons.
Well, see, with New York, they're buying guns on the street because they can't just walk in a gun shop and buy a gun like you can in southern
That's
states.
true. That's true.
So they either taking their parents' guns or they saving their money and buying guns on the street.
Oh, and they got this new thing, Joseph, now, because now they have 3D printers.
Mm,
You can actually print out a gun using a 3D printer. You can print it out and make it operable.
mm.
Because the 3D printer will print out whatever you put on that screen, the 3D printer is going to print out. So now we have to worry about not only the guns that are being sold on the streets, we got to learn, we have to worry about the guns that are being printed out by a computer.
Well,
That's wild. That is so wild to me. I mean, let me tell you something. My father, I told you my dad was a cop. My father was a cop.
happy birthday,
In the
Erica.
18 years that I lived in my house with my dad, I never, ever, I never even touched my father's gun. I was never even able to touch it. The only time I saw my father's gun was whenever he had it on his holster when he was leaving for work and when he was coming home. That's the only time I saw his gun. Um, Nowadays, parents can have a gun in the house, and all it takes is for a child to know where that gun is.
And
And
they
of
need it,
course,
and the parent need to be,
curiosity.
and the parent needs to be held responsible because you cannot have a gun in the house with children and just, oh, I'm gonna leave this on my dresser and think that it's okay.
Well, some kids know how to crack. These kids these days, they know how to crack safe, Joseph. They know how to prick locks
But well, at the
and
end of
find
the
a gun.
day, if they do that and it comes back to you, you can say my gun was in this safe. How the hell they got into it, I don't know.
Hmm.
But at least it was somewhere safe. But when you just putting it on top of the ledge in the closet, child, they can stand in a chair and get that.
Hmm.
It's too much. Like I want to know what is causing all this havoc and chaos in people's mind in 2022.
I tell you what it
Take
is.
the gun away.
I tell you
Take
what
the
it
whole
is.
gun
You
away.
know you
What
know.
is causing the havoc that
I tell
everybody's
you
so
what it is.
angry,
You know what it is.
everybody's so upset, everybody want to fight?
That's not what it's about. You know. You. I tell you what it is. You know what it is. Media, social media, the news media is what's causing people to lose their absolute minds because they see these things happening on TV. They want to copycat it, or you have people that are just mentally ill and their minds are just not right. They just not right in the head,
So,
and they go out here and do these things.
oh, okay, you said it's the media, but which part of it is because it puts people on edge. But at the same token, if when I watch TV and I see how crazy people are, I think twice before just reacting the way I would normally react. My reaction in 2022 is totally different than my reaction in 2010.
Hmm.
Because in 2010, yeah, I could get out and give them a little fuck you and kiss my ass. But in 2022, you say fuck you, kiss my ass, you either getting shot or they gonna hit you in the head with something.
Hmm.
So I don't understand.
It's you know
Like
what,
today I
Joseph.
lost it when I jumped out of the car at the gas man,
Hmm.
which it'll happen sometimes. But
You'll have somebody to do the same thing and get have the same anger as you, and they will pull out a gun and blow somebody's head off. It's circumstances too. Like, what do you say to the child, right? What do you say to the teenager that goes to school every day and he's being bullied, he's being ridiculed, he's being teased, he's being beat up, he's being jumped, and all these things. And the one thing that he has fixated on his mind is one of these days I'm going to get even with all those people that picked on me, that ridiculed me, that teased me.
I get it.
What do you say to that student that mentally is unstable now because he's been bullied and ridiculed and teased and beat and jumped and all this stuff? And he decides to go into his parents' safe and find their gun, take it to school, excuse me, and start shooting.
Because they're not thinking about the repercussion behind what they do.
They're not. They're not thinking about the repercussion. All they're thinking about is getting even and getting that anger that they have and they feel out of their systems in some type of way. It's mental health. It's partly mental health. It's partly people being sick and tired of being sick and tired of just being treated a certain type of way. It is. I mean, we can sit up here and we can talk
But
about this all
a lot of
day.
people no, but a lot of people that are doing it, they're not even. I could kind of accept what you're saying.
Hmm.
Not that it makes it right, but I can accept it. But you 18, you went to an elementary school. What did those little kids do to you?
Nothing.
Those little kids did absolutely nothing to you.
Right.
Absolutely
Right.
nothing to you.
Hmm.
And what the hell did you shoot them for?
You're not thinking. That's not your mindset. When you, as a person that has just gone, oh, you're over the edge. The last thing that's on your mind is when you go into a school and
But
start
no, if
shooting.
I'm
Hold
over the
on.
edge,
Listen. When you are over the edge, right? The last thing that's on your mind when you decide to go into a school, or elementary school, and start shooting, the last thing is your mind is who you're about to shoot. Oh, I'm not okay. I'm gonna go into school and I'm only gonna shoot adults.
but
I'm gonna
again,
go into a school and I'm only going to shoot the security officer. when you go into that school, when you're over the edge, you going in that school and you're gonna shoot whoever is in your path.
But
Period.
what I'm saying is, I guess I'm
The
tying
mind
it.
that's over
No,
the
I guess
listen,
I'm tying.
listen, the
I'm tying
person.
it to what you said before.
Hmm.
So it is not. It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me because my thing is, if I was ridiculed, then he could have been ridiculed in elementary school, and that's why
Hmm.
he chose elementary school.
Hmm.
But it was a choice because he put it on Facebook,
Right.
but he put it in a private message to somebody else what he
Right.
was going to do.
Right.
So he knew what he was going to do. He knew where he was going to do it. So what I'm saying is, why those little kids didn't do nothing to
Because
you?
when you over the edge, Joseph, and you want to hurt somebody, or you want to kill, or you want to maim, you're not thinking clearly. You're not thinking clearly. You don't care who you hurt and who you don't care.
Well, they
Whoever's in
say he
your
shot his
path.
grandmother first over a phone bill.
Yeah, he did. He shot his grandmother first. He shot his grandmother in the face and she survived. She was the one that called the police. But what I'm saying to you, Joseph, is I'm not trying to listen, I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm definitely not trying to justify why these two young men that that created these massacres, the one in the supermarket up in Buffalo, New York, and the one in Texas,
Well, the one in
and
Buffalo, he had a goal. His goal was to just get black people.
mhm.
So for that, okay, you just went where there was a bunch of black people. I get it. This one I don't get because I'm like little kids, elementary school kids. Like, if anything, get your high school. Get
Do you think he was in his right mind?
he premeditated it, I
Do you
believe.
think he was in his right mind now?
Anytime you
Because you got to
premeditate,
be out of your mind. Hold on.
anytime
You
you
just listen to
premeditate
what you said.
something,
You got to be out of your mind to go into a elementary school and start shooting children. You can't be in your right mind. You can't be thinking clear.
I agree. But when you premeditate something, that already says you in your right mind.
No, it don't.
When I say you're in your right mind,
Just because you premeditated something, just because you planned something out, just because you wrote a manifesto of who you were going to kill, and it don't mean that it don't mean you in your right mind. You still thinking you thinking on a whole different level. It's just like, I'll give you an example. Abraham Lincoln. Okay, John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln, and he thought that he was a hero. He thought that that was going to make him a hero amongst the country. But in reality, it made him the enemy. But he thought he was a hero. He thought he did something great
right?
because that was his thinking. That was his thinking. That was his frame of mind that he was in.
But he thought he was a
He
hero
was in his right
because
mind.
of what Lincoln did by freeing the slaves.
Right.
So again, that makes sense. What I'm things that don't make sense to me just don't make sense to me. And again, like you said, he was crazy. Well, I don't want to say crazy, but he wasn't in his right mind. But again,
In his
why
mind, he
would you
felt
pick
justified. He felt
elementary school
justified in
kids
what he was
just
doing.
to prove? I mean, you proved the point because, of course, everybody's hearts go out because those were little kids and they really didn't have a chance to live. So, of course, everybody's hearts go out. It becomes more of a shocker when he did what he did as opposed to the Boston Massacre person because he just shot any random person in the store.
Hmm.
He went and shot little kids,
Right.
which has never really happened before, I don't think. And if it did happen, then it wasn't on this large scale because nobody messes with little kids. And he decided he was going to be Billy Badass and go shoot up the little kids.
But that was he set out. He did what he set out to do. He wanted to
Shock
create an
value.
impact. He wanted to shock people. He wanted to put people in awe. That does that mean he was in his right mind?
No.
No, he wasn't in his right mind. Whoever this person was, whoever, anybody that goes out and kills a child ain't in their right
Even
mind.
a little boy that was
Purposely kills a
9,
child ain't in their right mind.
a little boy that was 9 said him and his friend hid real good, and he told his friend to shut up so that he couldn't hear them, and they didn't get shot. And he heard when the police came in the school and said, "Does anybody need help?" And the little girl in his class said, "Yes, we need help over here." And the gunman went in there and shot her dead.
Hmm.
I was like, why the fuck would the cops yell, "Do anybody need help?" and y'all don't even have him in custody yet? That didn't even make sense to me.
Right. I mean, well, we can play the blame game with the
Well,
cops
no, I'm
later,
not. It
but
ain't a
what I'm
blame
saying
game. It's
is
just
that
that it don't make sense to me.
it doesn't.
If
It
he's
doesn't
still
make any
roaming
sense. None
around,
of it made any
if
sense.
he's still roaming around with a gun, why would you yell, "Anybody need help?" and you ain't nowhere close to these people
Hmm.
to give them the help that they need? And he goes back in the room and shoots the little girl and says, "Yeah, I need help."
Right. Look at what the 911 operator did in Buffalo. She hung up. She,
Asking her why she whispering.
yeah, why she whispering? What it, Joseph? When things like this happen, the, your thought process is all over the place. I'm like I said, and like I said, I'm not trying to justify this
No, I get
by
it.
any means whatsoever, but I'm just trying to take people into the mind of what a killer is thinking. A killer is not thinking about a killer is not empathetic. Killers are not empathetic.
Mm-mm.
We as protectors from the killers, we're empathetic, but we're in panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're in panic mode, things go wrong. The operator asks, "Why are you whispering?" Or the police asks, "Is there anybody in there that needs help?" Because they're not
Child, the
thinking.
operator was stupid because I don't care any 911 operator, if you're whispering, they know somebody's near you. There's a issue, there's a problem while you're not talking loud. She was just a dummy, and that's why she got fired.
Hmm. A lot of 911 operators have what a job they must have. What a job they must have.
I couldn't
Have you
do it.
ever seen there was a show that used to come on about 911 operators and what they endure when they hear these phone calls on the phone. They actually have a room in the office that they have to go to where they get an opportunity to calm down, to to bring themselves back together because as a 911 operator, you hear people calling and saying, "I've been robbed."
You hear
You
people
hear
getting
people be
killed
getting
over the
getting
phone.
murdered over the phone. You hear all of this. What does that do to your mental state?
Right.
What does it do to your mental state? You know what I'm saying? I can truly empathize with people like that. I'm one that at one point in time in my life I suffered from PTSD because when my nephew was killed, I had to go and identify his blown off head, his body, and his head was blown off completely. The whole right side of his head was blown off completely. That I had PTSD for years because of that. From just looking at him. You know what I'm saying? And so I can empathize with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But guys, as much tragedy happens in this world, there are many blessings that occur. The blessings are is that not no more than 19, no more than 21 people were killed in that building because it could have been more.
It could have been a whole lot more.
Could have been a whole lot more. No more than what? It was what, 11 people in Buffalo, New York? 12 people? No more than 12 people were killed in that supermarket. It could have been more because this brother had a manifesto. The surviving terrorist that went to the supermarket and killed all these people. He had a manifesto. He was getting ready to hit Jersey City, New Jersey. He was going to hit Newark, New Jersey. He had a plan to just go on a killing spree. It could have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been like the DC sniper. The DC sniper went around and he had his son in the trunk of a car, killing people from the trunk of the car.
Child, that had me scared.
And you see how many people got
That was
killed
when
in
I
that.
moved. That was when I left you and moved to DC.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved to Maryland. Child, I was out there. We would be pumping gas, honey, and jump right back in our car and be getting
Yeah.
our gas out and doing it fast. Because that's what he was getting people at the gas station
Mm-hmm.
most of the time.
Right. But these are the times that we live in today. We live in a time, in a day and age where you're not safe anywhere. If you can't be safe in a church going to praise God, then where can you be safe? Where can you be safe? There's no. It's like the song say, nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide.
Right.
You know, Joseph, I'm afraid. I'm afraid every day. Every day that I go into a supermarket, every day that I even go into a gas station, anytime I go into a store, I can be in. I go to Dunkin' Donuts and go get coffee most mornings. I can be standing in Dunkin' Donuts and somebody could just come in there with a gun and start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And we're definitely targets now. I feel like both of me and you, we're targets now because it's Pride season is coming up, Gay Pride season is coming up, and New York Pride is coming up. All of these Gay Pride events that we're about to embark upon, that we're booked for, we have to be prepared. Like me and you have to. I've talked to you about having a plan on what if we're at one of these pride events and somebody just decided to start shooting in the crowd. What are we gonna do?
Drop.
What are we gonna do? Because what if dropping don't save you? What if you drop and the gunman comes and sees you on the ground and decides to put two in your head?
That's
Do
scary.
we run? Do we run back to our car? Do we try to make it back to our car? If we can make it back to our car, what do we do? What's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? And so it's scary. We live in a very, very scary time where um, we have to be on alert for anything to happen.
And the sad part, it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, because now you not only have these two people, well, three, no, actually four, because there was a mass shooting out in California as well. You have these four gunmen that have just committed these heinous crimes, right? And you got people watching them on the news. And some people that watch them on the news ain't right in their head and they glorifying this mess and they saying, okay, well, I should go out and do this. We got to worry about them folks. Then we got to worry about the ones that are mentally unstable because they've been teased and ridiculed and bullied all their life, or because their self-esteem is so low to the point where they feel like they have no other recourse but to go out and kill somebody. We have all of these different people that are experiencing these mental health issues going out and just massacring people. I think one of the things we need to do first is we need to change these gun laws. The other thing that we need to do is we need to do more for people that are experiencing mental issues, mental health issues. People think that just because you go to see your therapist and just because you take medication, that's going to alleviate everything, and it doesn't.
Okay,
Because you have a majority of people that have mental health issues that don't even take their medication. I was one of those people.
But you have to say this too. How do you know who has a mental health issue?
You don't. You don't.
So that's the problem.
You don't. We in this country have put a negative aura over people with mental health issues. We look at them and we say they're crazy. They're not crazy, Joseph. I have bipolar disorder. I have agoraphobia. I deal with depression. But does that mean that I'm crazy? No, it does not mean I'm crazy. I just so happen to be a person that deals with mental health, that is responsible with his mental health. I I am not about to get a gun and start shooting folks. That's just not me, right? I'm a person that responsibly goes and I see my therapist. My therapist gives me the tools to deal with me. My therapist gives me the tools to deal with all different types of scenarios that I may or may not run into. My therapist gives me the tools to deal with society, to walk in society and be a law abiding citizen, because I recognize what my mental health is.
But that's fine because you recognize it.
I
But what
recognize it,
about people
but
that don't?
people that don't, there are people that have mental health issues that are ashamed of having those mental health issues. They don't want to go and see a therapist because they don't want to be labeled as crazy. They don't want to be labeled as a lunatic. They don't want to be labeled as these negative things. So they don't seek therapy.
Or some
they
people
they
that
they
don't
they,
even
they
think
get
they have a
prescribed
problem.
medication. They don't want to take the medication. Have you ever taken medication for mental health?
No.
I'm telling you, it's not a fun thing. I used to be under a doctor's care where I had to take medication for my bipolar disorder. I am at a place in my life where I no longer have to take medication. And that's simply because I did the work. And what I mean by that is when I realized that my mental health, and let me tell you what, it hasn't been an easy road. I remember whenever I first started seeing a therapist, I was very ashamed to tell people that I had bipolar disorder. I was very ashamed to share with people what my mental status was. I was very ashamed of it. My self-esteem was low. I didn't want nobody to know that I took medication for my mental health because I didn't want to be labeled as a lunatic. I didn't want to be labeled as somebody that was crazy. I didn't want that title on my back. But there came a time in my life where I made a decision that I was going to find out every single thing there is to know about my mental status. And I read books, I watched videos, I did the work. I listened to my therapist, and my therapist, like I said, my therapist gave me the tools that I needed. I took my medication, and for many years, I was fine. Then there came a time when my therapist said, Tramel, you no longer need medication. You no longer need it. And um, since then, I've been able to maintain my mental health. And what I mean by that is when I run into situations, because bipolar is a very complex and intricate mental disease to have, because you go through mood swings. You're sad sometimes. Sometimes you're depressed. Sometimes you're up. Sometimes you're down. It can take you through so many psychological changes, and you have to know how to handle each and every individual cycle change that mental health can bring you through. And you have to do the work. You have to want to. And see, I wanted to. I know that I will always listen. I know that I will always have bipolar disorder. There's nothing's taking that away. It's nothing. It's not going away. It's not, mental health is not something that goes away. But can it be maintained? Can it be structured? Can it be controlled? Yes. That's if you as the individual want to do the work. If you want to, and you got to want to save yourself. I wanted to save me. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to save me. I wanted to save me. I wanted to be a law abiding citizen that can walk through life and walk through this world without the
Open.
ridicule or anything. That's what I wanted to be.
Open.
Who took the chicken out?
I did.
Oh, you gonna cook it?
No. all of that to interrupt my life.
So that's what I want it to be. I want to be, I want it not only for me to be safe, but I want for everybody around me to be safe. You understand what I'm saying? So um mental health is real. And if you're experiencing mental health issues, I beg you, I don't care if it's depression, I don't care if it's bipolar disorder, I don't care if it's paranoid schizophrenia, I don't care what it is. Go and seek help and learn what your mental health is. Find out everything that you can
Child,
find
people
out
be trying my
about it
mental health, honey.
and do
And I
something
know I
about
ain't
it.
crazy, but they be pissing me off, and I be wanting to punch them in the face and curse them out.
Right.
Because they just do stupid stuff at the dumbest times. The
But to
one
be
thing
honest
I
with you,
can't
Joseph,
stand is a
anybody can go over
stupid
the edge.
person.
Anybody can go over the edge. You, me, anybody can go over the edge. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you whether you're going to go over the edge or not.
No, because those be the ones that have real mental health issues that don't solve them. And the people that don't have the issues, they always torment them and piss them off to where they want to act the damn fool.
You'll find that anybody that has gone over the edge and have gone out and created a massacre or massacred people or have had an issue with their mental status, you'll find that most of those people either did not do anything about it or they just simply gave up on their mental health. Period. Point
No,
blank.
that's what I'm saying. People who have mental health issues don't never get them fixed, and they just stay here and be harassing people who either are getting therapy for it or don't need therapy for anything. But then they the ones that sitting here harassing people, and those people that don't need it be wanting to fuck them up because they stupid. I can't stand a stupid person. Like you just stupid for no reason. Like oh God, like it's annoying to me. Like
It is.
certain
It is.
things
It's
are
annoying. It
annoying
is
to me.
annoying, Joseph. It is annoying. It is very, very annoying.
Like people that just do things to people just because. Like get a life. Like go play in traffic or do something with yourself. Leave me alone.
Oh, how we wish it was that easy. Oh, how we wish that it was that easy for us to direct those people that are dealing with mental health issues to give them the advice of going to get a life or going to play in traffic or if you're going to hurt somebody, hurt your damn self. Don't go out and kill a whole bunch of people. If it were that easy, wow. But it's not. It's just not that easy. Um, People, um, you need to be contacting your legislators in your state and getting on them about gun laws. I know that I don't know what I can do about, you know, the status of what's going on in my state, but I definitely would love to do something about it. If it means me going to the polls and voting on different gun laws, then so be it. I'm one that wants to do my part, you know, when dealing with situations like this. I want to do my part. I think that the gun laws need to be changed. I think that mental health more needs to be done. More funds need to be put into people that deal with mental health issues. There's not enough being done. There's not enough funding for it. For instance, Joseph, with my insurance, and with people that are people a majority of people that are, let's say, on disability because they deal with mental health issues, right? You can't even go to the doctor. Some of us can't even go to the doctor. Some of us can't see a psychiatrist, not because we don't want to. Most people that deal with mental health issues, they want to see a therapist but simply can't afford to. Do you know how much it costs to see a therapist?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much it costs?
Uh,
For me, a person that's disabled and on a fixed income, I have to pay $40 every single time I go see a therapist. And $40 may as well be $40,000, you know? But I make the sacrifice and pay that amount to see my therapist. I'd rather be poor than to be not in my right mind. But that's a choice that I made. Not every person that deals with mental health is able to make that choice. Not everyone. Um, so that's why I say more funding needs to be given to each individual state when it comes to mental health. Mental health needs to be a number one priority in every state. It needs to be a number one priority. It needs to be as big a priority as it is these abortion laws. It needs to be a priority. And let's be clear. A lot of things that are going on with people being killed by someone that has mental issues, a lot of it we don't hear in the news. We don't see in the news. We don't read about in the news because it doesn't make the news. It's not important enough to make the news. So we're not aware of a lot of, there's people every day that are killed by someone with mental issues, and we don't hear about all of it. We don't hear about it. Um, it's a double edged sword. It is. It's a double edged sword. But as much as we are losing people due to the state of those that are dealing with mental health issues and these massacres that are going on in this country, there's also a lot of blessings because although it's been 127 mass shootings in this country, it's not 227. And let me say this, guys. This is when our spirituality needs to come in as well. We need to start praying. We need to start praying for our loved ones when they walk out the door, because you never know if you're going to see them. You never know when you're going to see. You never know if whether or not you're going to see them. You don't know if your loved one is going to make it home. But when they do make it home, it's a blessing.
child, at the rate this world's going, you don't know if they're gonna make it to work when
Right,
they go to sleep.
right. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. And I was watching, what is that, The View, and one of the Ted Cruz, who is the governor, he's the senator in the state of Texas. He always says, um, guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's bullshit. People kill people. People kill people. People with guns kill people. People with guns kill people, Joseph.
You got to tell me. Clearly, we can see that.
There's so much work to do. We have so many different um, um, issues in this country on our plates. One of the biggest issues that we have on our plate is hate. How do we get rid of the hate? How do we weather through the hate? How do we endure the hate? How do we deal with this? There's so many references and there's so many scenarios that have everything to do with just pure hate. How do we deal with that? How do we do it?
Mm.
How do we make sense of it? How do we find absolution in it? How do we do this?
It's hard.
It is. It's very, very difficult. Now, y'all, I know this show was supposed to be about blessings and things like that because, and I'm going to tell you this: as much as we are talking about what has been going on in this country when it comes to, you know, these mass shootings and things like this, um, we are in a time where God is blessing. God is in the midst of blessing, Joseph. God is in the midst of blessing. So I tell you, people out there, regardless of what's going on in this country, God is in the midst of blessing. So if there's something, if there's a blessing that you're asking God for, ask Him for it. Ask Him for it. And I always say this, Joseph, all you got to do is ask God one time for whatever blessing you want. All you got to do is ask Him for it one time that you may not get it when you want to get it. You're going to get it when God going to get it to you.
When it becomes available.
Well, when God becomes available, you're going to get that blessing. So people, don't give up. Don't give up on us. Don't give up on people. Let's not give up on us. Let's not give up on the human race and think that everybody is evil and everybody is angry and everybody is dealing with mental health issues to the point where they're going to go out and they're going to massacre a whole bunch of people. Let's not give up on us. This is what we have to do. We have to not give up on us as a race, as a human race. Don't have nothing to do with black and white and ethnicity and all that other stuff. Let's not give up on us. Let's keep us in a positive place. Let's continue to think positive. Let's continue to be optimistic about the direction that this country and this world is going in. We have to. Because if we don't, if a majority starts thinking that the human race ain't worth living, then we're all doomed. We're all doomed. We can't give up on us. We got to keep on saying, okay, what happened was not good, but I'm still not going to give up on my fellow man. I'm still going to walk this earth with the premise of knowing that there are great people, there are good people out here that are going to be able to make the right decisions, that are going to be able to help us push these laws through, that is going to be able to help these families that have weathered through or have endured their loved ones being killed at the hands of a madman or a mad woman. We can't give up. As much sense as it does not make, we have to make it make sense. It's like taking lemons and making lemonade. If you put enough sugar in, it's going to be nice and sweet. But if you don't put enough sugar in, it's going to be bitter and sour. So what lemonade do you want to drink? I want to drink the lemonade that tastes good. I want to drink the lemonade that tastes sweet. I want to drink the lemonade that's going to quench my thirst. We can't give up, y'all. We can't give up. What's going on in the chat, Joseph?
Nothing. They just talking about what you talking about how he was in the school for an hour before the cops could get into the school,
Mm-hmm.
and how come you just can't walk in the school and pick up your kids, but he was able to just walk in and shoot up the place. BC Cup said, "How do you expect imperfect humans to act correctly?"
You don't. You can't. You don't. You can't. You can't. All of us are imperfect.
This is true.
It ain't nobody in this country. It ain't nobody in this world that's perfect. Jesus Christ was perfect. So all of us are imperfect. So all of us can fall victim to either being a victim or being a suspect. All of us.
Y'all just better be careful.
I'm just saying we got to be careful. You got to be careful. As optimistic as you may want to be, you still have to be careful. Have a plan, guys. Now we got the now we got the when I saw this that was going on in the news this week, I said I got to have a plan. We got to have a plan. And even planning is not going to guarantee your safety, but you got to have a plan. What if you are in that supermarket where somebody comes in and they start shooting? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do if you're in a supermarket, Joseph, and somebody starts shooting?
Other than gay,
The gunman is at the door. You can't get out the door. What are you going to
hide.
do? Right. You either what are you going to do? Are you going to hide? Are you going to run? Are you going to try to outrun the gunman? Are you going to try to be a hero and try to save as many people as you can? Are you going to take a bullet for somebody?
I'ma hide, and when I see he moving away from the door, try to run for the door.
Hmm. I hope and pray that I don't never ever have to hide. That's the prayer I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray the prayer that I don't never have to experience what those people that were killed had to experience. I'm going to pray that. I'm going to pray it. I'm going to pray it. I'm going to pray, oh God, please don't ever have me in a scenario or a situation where I have to hide under a shelf or in a storeroom or in a box or somewhere for my life. God, please don't have me. Please don't please. I don't ever want to be in this situation. I don't. I don't want to ever be in that situation. But I know that just like they say everybody is a paycheck away from being homeless, I'm just one step into a door from being killed by somebody that I don't know and they don't know me. I'm one step away. All of us are one step away. You have to continue to have that on your heart and on your mind and fixate it. All of us are dealing with mental health. Mental health. Some of us are paranoid. Some of us are afraid. Some of us are grieving for those that have endured it. Good Lord, we. I mean, it's just it's so hard to fathom. But these are the things that we have to think about. These are the times that we don't wish for. That's our message for you tonight, guys. Um, please be out, be safe, and be optimistic, and continue to care about those that are less fortunate, meaning those that have endured, the families that have endured. Say a prayer for the families that have endured this. If you can contribute to these families, contribute to them, whether it be a message, a phone call, a prayer, whatever it is. Be proactive in that and what you want to do to show your support. Be proactive in it. Um, it's June. June is soon embarking. We're about to embark upon June, which is National Gay Pride Month. Gay Pride National Gay Pride Day is going to be the last Sunday in June. And I say to all of my family, my LGBTQ family, just be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Better be safe than be sorry. If you have an instinct or if you have a thinking that something is going to happen, then follow your first mind. Always follow your first mind. If your mind tells you don't go into that club because it's too crowded, then don't go into that club because it's too crowded. If your instinct is telling you don't go to that event, that pride event that's going to be crowded full of a whole bunch of people, then listen to your first mind. But if you're going to go to these clubs and if you're going to go to these events, make sure you know where the exits are. Make sure you have an exit plan just in case. I remember, Joseph, when I was young and I was hanging out in the clubs and stuff like that, that was one of the first things I would do when I would go into a club is I would find out where the doors were. Be alert. Be alert. Let your mind stay fresh. If you're going to be in a club and you're going to be drinking, regardless whether you're drinking and catching the train or drinking and catching the bus, still be safe. Still be safe enough to not drink to the point where you can't think. Be smart enough to not drink too much alcohol because if something pops off and you drunk and you can't run or your motor skills or just your movement is not going to be as sharp as a person that wasn't drinking or that is not drunk. As a parent, teach your children that when they're out and about in the streets teach them how to have an exit plan. And for God's sake, as much as we use our cell phones, it's so important for kids to keep their cell phones charged. Keep your cell phones charged, children. Parents, make sure your children's cell phones are charged. If they use their phones to a point where their battery is always going dead, get them a portable battery. Because you never know when your child may be in the midst of something and they have to hide and they have to call 911. Make sure your phones are charged. I know that a lot of children carry these backpacks around now, just to have a battery charger and built into the backpack.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah. So, um, whatever it is you can do to keep yourself safe, keep yourself safe. Y'all, season 5 of the TheMcRaeKingz is coming up soon. We have so many different things planned for you guys. I can't wait for you to see the new look. I can't wait for you guys to experience the new TheMKingz. I can't wait for you guys to see all of the different segments that we're coming out with in the new season. I can't wait for you guys to see some of the interviews that we have coming up in the new season. Make sure you're watching us on all social media platforms. Joseph, tell them what those are.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and share us out to a friend. If you want to become a lord or a lady at our round table, hit that join button. If you don't see the join button, the link is in the description box because membership will have its privilege in 2022. Also, check out the McRaeKingz boutique for everything McRaeKingz and Dare to Be Different. And if nobody told you they loved you today, know that your I do, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please, if you want to help support the McRaeKingz platform, the Cash App is in the bottom left-hand corner. All your donations go right back into our platform so that we can bring you new and exciting content.
Yes, and
And
thank you for the tips. Thank you guys for those of you that have left us a cash tip, for those of you that have given us a tip via Cash App,
yes,
and thank you for those for the subscribers that do special things for us, like send us money to go out to dinner,
like
or
Anonymous did today.
yeah, like our anonymous subscriber. The subscriber wanted to be anonymous, but a subscriber paid gave us money today to go out to dinner, and we had a great dinner, didn't we? Dinner was
Yeah.
oh, it was so good. And you know, we thank you subscribers for doing those special little things for us. We appreciate them. It's always great to get a treat like that. Um, and
Now you might say, how do we know? Well, we knew because they sent us the cash app, which was quite hefty,
mhm,
and said, I want you two to go out on a date night
yes, and
on me. So
yes,
that's what we did. We posted pictures of where we went
yeah, they wanted us.
in the
They just wanted us
restaurant
to take pictures. That's all they wanted us to do. They
and the
said,
dinner that we had.
yeah, they just wanted us to. They said we're giving you this money to go out to dinner. All we ask is that you take pictures and leave our names anonymous. A lot of people give to us anonymously. They do. They don't like to. They like to move in silence. They like to donate in silence. And for those of you that do donate in silence, we do appreciate all of your monetary gifts. We really, really do from the bottom of our hearts. We love you. We thank you. We thank you once. We thank you twice. We thank you three times and much, much more. And we love it. Just makes us love you more than ever. The McCraeKingz platform is really growing. I have to say that we gained two new subscribers on our Facebook page, the McCraeKingz Facebook page. Um, and I pat us on the back for that.
And
Um,
shout out to all the new subscribers on YouTube.
Yes, and the McCraeKingz, we just found out yesterday that we will be participants in the Jersey City Gay Pride event on the 27th of August, and we'll be doing celebrity interviews, we'll be doing red carpet interviews, and we're also going to be making appearances at several other Gay Pride events within the next 4 months because Pride starts in June, and it runs through October. So for the next 4 months, the McRae's are kind of booked and busy. Uh, and it feels good to be that again. It really does, Joseph. It feels good to be booked and busy again, once again. For those of you that are interested in booking the McCraeKingz for an event, whether it be hosting, whether it be doing interviews, whether it be doing a red carpet um, 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 show, whatever the case may be. If you have any show ideas, if you are a person that has a story that is interesting, by all means, send us an email. You can email us at TheMcRaeKingz@gmail.com. You can email us at TheMcRaeKingzCorner@gmail.com. And you can also, for bookings, book the McRaeKingz at gmail.com. Again, to book the McRaeKingz, send us an email at bookthemcraekingz@gmail.com. We also travel to different parts of the state. Of course, the accommodations and the traveling would be on you. So if you are interested in doing something like that, if you're interested in us coming to your state or coming to your city to do a motivational class, we're more than happy to do that if the numbers make sense. And by all means, send us an email. With that being said, guys, we are out of here for the evening. You guys walk in love, peace, sunshine, and happiness. And always remember that it's Team McRae.
Oh, damn day.
And say a prayer. Say a prayer. Say a prayer for those that have been killed.